I bolted upright, gasping, the familiar scent of Ethan's cologne lingering on the pillow like a ghost. The clock glowed 7:15 a.m., October 15th. The date etched into my soul from the accident report I'd never see again. My hands, whole, unscarred, trembled as I touched my face, my chest, feeling the pulse of life that had been stolen hours from now. This wasn't a dream. I died, screaming his name into the void, only to wake up here, in the before. And as the first rays of autumn sun pierced the blinds of our Manhattan loft, I knew this was my shot, to unravel the lie that tore us apart, to make him see the love that was always only mine. But love, I learned that morning, is a fragile thing in the city that never sleeps. Ethan stirred beside me, his blonde curls tousled, that boyish smile he reserved for lazy Sundays already cracking at the edges. "Morning, babe," he murmured, rolling over to plant a kiss on my shoulder. His touch sent a shiver through me. Not the good kind, but the electric jolt of impending doom. I wanted to grab him, shake him, spill everything. The fight, the rain, the truck that would end me because I'd run after him in blind desperation. Instead, I forced a smile, my voice steady as steel. "Morning. Coffee?" We moved through the ritual like actors in a play we'd rehearsed 1,000 times. Him scrolling emails at the kitchen island, me grinding beans in the French press, the Hudson River glittering beyond our floor-to-ceiling windows like a promise of forever. But my mind raced ahead to the fracture point. Lunch at that overpriced bistro in Soho, where he'd dropped the bomb. A text from his phone had lit up my world in flames last time. Anonymous screenshots of me and Alex, my best friend since NYU, laughing too close at a rooftop bar. "Who's the other guy, Landon? Don't lie to me." His voice had cracked then, but the hurt in his eyes? It was a dagger. And I chased him into the storm, swearing it was nothing, that Alex was just Alex, until the impact silenced me forever. This time I'd rewrite the script. "Hey," I said casually, sliding his mug across the marble counter. "What if we skip lunch today? Stay in, binge that new queer rom-com everyone's raving about." Ethan's laugh was light, oblivious. "Tempting, but Marcus is meeting us. Client dinner prep. Remember? Marcus, his work buddy from the ad agency, the one with the shark grin and wandering eyes." I nodded, swallowing the bile rising in my throat. Marcus, who I'd always suspected was more than a colleague. But suspicions weren't proof, and in the haze of second chances, I couldn't afford paranoia. By noon, the bistro's exposed brick walls closed in like a confessional booth. Ethan fidgeted with his napkin, his blue eyes darting to his phone every few seconds. The waiter, a lanky kid with a septum piercing, dropped our salads and I braced myself, fork hovering. "So," Ethan started, voice low, "we need to talk." Here it came. The screenshots, the accusations. But I jumped first, heart hammering. "Before you say anything, it's not what you think. Alex, he's family. That night on the roof, we were drunk, venting about you, actually. About how you're always buried in work, how I miss us." Lies layered on half-truths. But his face softened, just a flicker. "Landon, I got this message. Photos. It looks bad." I leaned in, voice cracking with the raw edge of my near-death clarity. "Bad? Ethan, look at me. 5 years. From that dive bar in the village where you spilled beer on my jeans and apologized with a kiss that tasted like cheap IPA and possibility. That's us. Not some blurry pic." He searched my eyes, the diner's jazz playlist underscoring the tension like a bad rom-com score. For a heartbeat, I thought I'd dodged the bullet. Then his phone buzzed again, and his expression shattered. "It's another one. You and him in his apartment." "God, Landon. How long?" The world tilted. Not the same photos, worse. Time-stamped last week. Me and Alex on his couch, arms around each other, laughing at some stupid meme. But I hadn't been there. Couldn't have. Unless. No. This was the loop's cruel joke, twisting reality to test me. "That's fake," I whispered, desperation clawing up my throat. "Photoshopped. Someone's fucking with us." Ethan's chair scraped back, his voice a venomous hiss. "Don't gaslight me. I trusted you. Our wedding's in 3 months. And this is why I can't breathe around you anymore." He stormed out, the bell above the door jangling like a death knell. I chased him into the drizzle turning to downpour, the same streets that would claim me later. Ethan, wait! My shouts drowned in the roar of taxis and thunder. He whirled, rain streaking his face like tears. It's over, Landon. Find someone who deserves your lies. And he vanished into the subway entrance, leaving me soaked, sobbing, the truck's horn already a distant echo in my mind. But this time I didn't step into the crosswalk. I turned back, lungs burning, toward Alex's place in Chelsea. If the photos were real in this twisted timeline, he had answers. Or a knife to twist deeper. Alex's walk-up smelled like fresh paint and microwave popcorn, a far cry from our loft's sterile luxury. He answered the door in sweatpants and a faded Ramones tee, his green eyes widening at my drenched state. Landy? What the hell? Get in here. I collapsed onto his thrift store couch, the same one from the photo, spilling everything in a torrent. The death, the loop, the accusation. He listened, brow furrowed, handing me a towel that smelled faintly of his cedar cologne. You're saying you died? And woke up today? Skepticism laced his tone, but there was that undercurrent. Concern, the kind that had always blurred lines between friendship and something more. I know it sounds insane, I admitted, toweling my hair. But those pics? Us here? I wasn't here last week. Check your phone, your camera roll. Anything. Alex pulled out his device, scrolling, his face paling. Shit. Yeah, they're there. Timestamp says Tuesday night. But, dude, you bailed on drinks that day. Texted me you had a deadline. A beat of silence, heavy as the rain pattering against the fire escape. Then he laughed, bitter. Someone's playing games. Marcus, maybe? He's been sniffing around Ethan at work, dropping hints like he's God's gift. Marcus. The name ignited a spark in my chest. Rage, yes, but clarity too. Why would he? Alex shrugged, sitting too close, his knee brushing mine. Jealousy? Ethan's the golden boy, and Marcus? He's got that predatory vibe. Saw him eyeing Ethan at the holiday party last year. The pieces clicked. The anonymous texts, the sabotage. But why me? Why us? As the afternoon bled into evening, we pored over the images, Alex's arms slung casually over my shoulders, his warmth a balm against the chill of betrayal. For the first time since waking, I felt seen, not as the villain in Ethan's narrative, but as Landon, flawed and fighting. Night fell like a curtain, and I crashed on his couch, too exhausted to face the empty loft. Dreams came in fragments. Ethan's ring on my finger, cold and heavy. The truck's grill looming like a beast. Alex's hand in mine, steady. I woke to the scent of bacon, Alex flipping strips in his tiny kitchen, humming an old Springsteen tune. Figured you'd need fuel for round 2 of Operation Expose the Dickhead, he said, plating eggs with a wink that sent my stomach flipping. God, he was beautiful, freckles dusting his nose, that lopsided grin that had always made my chest ache in ways I chalked up to bromance. We spent the day as reluctant detectives, hacking Ethan's socials, guilty as charged, tracing the text's IP to a burner app, even staking out the agency after hours. Nothing concrete, but the proximity to Alex chipped away at the walls I'd built around my heart. By sunset, perched on his fire escape with cheap wine from the corner bodega, the city sprawled below like a glittering apology. I cracked. I loved him, you know? Thought it was forever. Alex's gaze softened, his fingers tracing the rim of his glass. Love's not a contract, Land. This. He gestured between us, the air thick with unspoken what-ifs. I leaned in, or maybe he did, doesn't matter. Our lips met soft, tentative, tasting of Merlot and Manhattan rain. It wasn't fireworks. It was a quiet unraveling, the kind that stitches you back together. But as his hands cupped my face, pulling me closer, my phone buzzed. Ethan, we need to talk. My place. Now. The spell shattered. I pulled back, guilt and longing warring in my gut. I have to go. The loft felt like a tomb when I arrived. Lights low, Ethan's silhouette against the window like a shadow puppet. I overreacted, he said without preamble, turning, eyes red-rimmed. The pics, they're bullshit. Marcus confessed he faked them. Wanted me for himself. Relief crashed over me, but it was laced with something sharper. The kiss still burning on my lips. Why would he do that? Ethan stepped closer, hands on my waist. Because he's an asshole. But us? We're solid. Wedding's still on, right? I nodded, but the words stuck. Solid? This was a house of cards, built on half-truths and near-misses. We made love that night. Familiar rhythms, his body arching under mine. But my mind wandered to green eyes and fire escapes. Dawn brought clarity. I couldn't marry a ghost of what we were. Ethan, I said over coffee, voice steady. I need space to figure out me. His face crumpled, the accusation from yesterday's echo returning. Is it Alex? After all this? No lies this time. Maybe. But mostly, it's you blaming me for shadows that weren't mine. He begged, pleaded, but I walked out, the door clicking shut like a full stop. The streets buzzed with life. Vendors hawking chestnuts, joggers dodging puddles, and for the first time, I breathed free. Weeks blurred into a fragile new normal, the kind New York excels at, reinvention wrapped in anonymity. I sublet a shoebox studio in the East Village, walls papered with graffiti art from the previous tenant. The constant wail of sirens, a lullaby that drowned out the what-ifs. Work at the graphic design firm kept me buried. Mock-ups for indie bands, logos for queer-owned coffee shops. But my sketches turned personal, faces emerging from pencil strokes. Ethan's sharp cheekbones fading into Alex's softer lines. I avoided them both at first, ghosting texts, burying myself in dive bars where the gin tasted like regret and the drag shows reminded me love could be fierce, unapologetic. But avoidance is a coward's game, and karma or fate or whatever cosmic bitch runs this loop had other plans. It started with a gallery opening in Williamsburg, Queer Visions, a showcase of LGBTQ+ artists grappling with identity in the American dream. I went for the free wine, stayed for the ache. The space hummed with laughter and low lights, bodies pressed close in that intoxicating mix of vulnerability and bravado. And there, across the room, nursing a scotch, Alex. He spotted me first, his smile tentative, like he was testing fragile ice. Landon, didn't expect you here. We fell into easy rhythm, orbiting sculptures of intertwined male forms, debating the symbolism over plastic cups of Merlot. This one's about betrayal, he said, nodding at a piece of twisted metal lovers pulling apart. Like how one lie can warp everything. His eyes held mine, heavy with subtext. I swallowed. Yeah. Or how dying can make you see the truths you ignored. He didn't press, but his hand brushed mine as we moved to the next exhibit, a spark that lingered. Ethan crashed the party, literally shouldering through the crowd with that agency swagger, suit rumpled like he'd slept in it. Landon, his voice cut through the indie folk playlist, drawing stares. Alex tensed beside me. Not now, man. But Ethan ignored him, grabbing my arm. We need to talk. Alone. The gallery's air thickened, whispers rippling like aftershocks. I yanked free, heat rising. Here, in front of everyone, classy, Ethan. He deflated, but the damage was done. I miss you. This separation, it's killing me. His eyes flicked to Alex, venom flashing. But I see you're moving on. With him, just like the photos said. The old wound reopened, raw and festering. Alex stepped forward, voice low thunder. Those were faked, asshole. By your so-called friend Marcus. Ring any bells? Ethan's face drained of color. What? No. He said. Said what? I demanded. The room's energy coiling around us like a noose. That I was the villain? That our love was a lie. Heads turned. Phones subtly angling for the drama. Ethan stammered. I didn't believe him at first. But after you left, he showed me more. Emails. From you to Alex. Planning to leave me. Lies upon lies. My blood boiled. The loop's gift turning into a curse. Reality bending to punish my hesitation. I laughed, bitter. The sound echoing off the brick walls. Emails I never sent. Check the metadata, Ethan. Or better yet, ask Marcus why he's been screwing around behind your back since the Hamptons retreat. Gasps rippled. Someone muttered, "Tea," in the background. Ethan's eyes widened, betrayal dawning. You're lying. But doubt crept in, cracking his facade. Alex pulled me back gently. Let's go, land. This isn't worth it. Outside, the Brooklyn night air hit like a slap, crisp, laced with river brine and distant train rumbles. We walked in silence to the L train, shoulders brushing, until Alex broke it. You okay? I wasn't. The weight of almost married, almost dead, pressed down. I thought I could fix us, but he's poisoned everything. Alex stopped under a flickering street lamp, turning me to face him. Us? There was never an us to fix if it was built on sand. You deserve real Landon, not shadows. His words hung, then his mouth was on mine, urgent, claiming, tasting of scotch and salvation. We stumbled into his apartment, shedding coats and inhibitions, the fire escape framing our silhouette like a noir film. His body against mine was revelation. Strong hands mapping scars I didn't know I had, whispers in the dark that pieced me back. I've wanted this, he confessed later, fingers tracing my spine as we tangled in sheets. Since that stupid NYU kegger, when you defended me from those frat brothers. But you were Ethan's. Guilt twisted, but so did truth. I was blind. Dawn painted his room in gold, and for the first time, the future felt unwritten. But New York doesn't do tidy resolutions. 2 days later, Marcus called, a slimy voicemail. Heard about the gallery. Ethan's spiraling. Thinks you're both laughing at him. Watch your back. Paranoia bloomed. I told Alex everything over ramen at a hole in the wall on Avenue A. Steam curling between us like secrets. He's unhinged, Alex said, chopsticks pausing. We should go to the cops. But evidence was thin. Faked photos, vague threats, and pride kept me silent. Pride, that American sin. The conflict escalated that weekend at a mutual friend's Halloween bash in a Bushwick warehouse. Pumpkin Alesh and fog machines, bodies grinding to synth pop under strobe lights. Ethan cornered me in the bathroom, eyes wild, breath sour with whiskey. You think you can steal him? Alex was mine first. In college, before you swooped in with your perfect life, the words landed like punches. What? He sneered. Oh yeah, we hooked up. Multiple times. He pined for me while I dated you. But you're the rebound I settled for. Lies? Truth? The room spun. I shoved past him, bursting into the throng, searching for Alex amid the revelers. Found him laughing with old sorority sisters. Wait, no, queer chosen family, all glitter and acceptance. But Ethan's seed of doubt took root. Later, in a quiet corner, I confronted Alex. Did you and Ethan, before? His face fell, confession spilling. Yeah, freshman year. It was messy, ended bad. I never told you because it didn't matter. You were the one who saw me. Betrayal layered on betrayal, Ethan sabotage, now this buried history. It matters now, I whispered, pulling away. The party faded to noise, my heart fracturing anew. I fled into the night, subway rattling me back to my studio, where I curled under a threadbare quilt, sobs racking until exhaustion claimed me. Was this the loop's endgame? To strip me bare, force me to choose between ghosts and ghosts? Morning brought resolve. I met Ethan at our old spot, the pier at Battery Park, gulls wheeling over ferries bound for statue-bound dreams. Wind whipped his coat, mirroring the storm in his eyes. I lied, he admitted, voice breaking. About the hookups. Marcus fed me that too. Said it would hurt you like you hurt me. Hurt him? The irony burned. You blamed me for a love that wasn't mine, Ethan. Faked evidence, anonymous texts. You let paranoia destroy us. Tears streaked his face, mixing with sea spray. I was scared. Of losing you. Of not being enough in this city that chews up queerness like it's nothing. Human. Raw. The boy I'd fallen for under fireflies in Central Park summers ago. I wanted to hold him, rewrite it all. But the scar was too deep. We're done, I said softly. Find healing. Without me. He nodded, shattered but standing. A glimmer of growth in the ruin. As he walked away, silhouette shrinking against the skyline, I felt the loop's grip loosen. No truck today. No death. Just life, jagged and beautiful. The aftermath was a slow burn, New York's winter creeping in with its bite. First frost on fire escapes, holiday lights twinkling like false promises in the village shop windows. I threw myself into work, landing a freelance gig designing posters for a queer film festival at Lincoln Center. Stories of love defying odds, immigrants finding home in each other's arms. It fueled me, these narratives of resilience, mirroring my own fractured path. Alex and I danced around the revelation. Texts turning flirty, coffee dates stretching into walks along the High Line, where rusted rails whispered of industrial ghosts and second springs. But doubt lingered like cigarette smoke in a crowded bar. "You're pulling back," he said one evening, as we shared a bench overlooking the Hudson, steam from our to-go cups mingling in the chill. His scarf, knit by his mom in Seattle, draped loose, vulnerability in every thread. I sighed, breath fogging the air. Ethan's lies. They make me question everything. What if I'm just collecting heartbreaks? Alex's hand found mine, calluses from his bartending shifts grounding me. Then collect mine too. I'm not him, Land. I'm the guy who burns toast but remembers your coffee order. Black, 2 sugars, splash of regret on Mondays. His humor cracked my walls, and we kissed there, slow and sure, the city indifferent below. It bloomed from there. Lazy Sundays at his place, cooking pasta that stuck to the pot, binging It's a Sin, while debating if Heartland America could ever grasp our coastal chaos. He met my sister via Zoom, her Texas drawl teasing, "Finally, a guy who looks at you like you're the damn Super Bowl." And Ethan? Radio silence, save for a single text. "Therapy's helping. Sorry for the wreckage. Be happy. Human. Forgivable, maybe, but not forgettable." Spring teased early that year, cherry blossoms dusting Washington Square Park like confetti from a queer wedding. The festival launch was a whirlwind. Red carpet rolled out on the plaza. Celebs in tailored suits mingling with activists in pride pins. My posters hung large, bold colors screaming love unscripted, across the facades. Alex stood beside me in the crowd, arm around my waist, his pride a quiet anchor. "You did this?" he murmured, lips brushing my ear. Pride swelled, real and untainted. Then the shadow fell. Marcus. He slunk through the throng like a bad sequel, champagne flute in hand, eyes glassy. Landon, looking sharp. Venom dripped, but I held firm. "What do you want?" He smirked, glancing at Alex. "Just congratulating an old friend. Heard Ethan's a mess. Blames you for everything. Even whispered to HR about hostile work environment from your drama." The accusation hung, a threat veiled in civility. Alex stiffened. "Back off, creep, or we'll air your little forgery scheme to the whole scene." Marcus laughed, low and ugly. "Try it. I've got friends in high places. And Ethan? He'll back me. You're the homewrecker here." He melted into the crowd, leaving poison in his wake. My hands shook. HR complaints could tank my career, freelance or not. "He's bluffing," Alex said, but doubt echoed. That night, in the after-party's haze of house music and hookah smoke, Ethan appeared. Not drunk, not raging, just hollow-eyed, nursing a soda water. "We need to end this," I said, pulling him to a quiet balcony overlooking the lit-up fountain. City lights danced on his face, highlighting the lines exhaustion had carved. "Marcus is stirring shit. Tell him to stop." Ethan's gaze dropped. "I can't. He knows too much about us, about me." A beat. Heavy. "I cheated Landon. With him. Multiple times. Thought it was nothing, but it was escape. From the pressure. The wedding. Feeling like I was performing straight-passing perfection for my folks back in Ohio." The confession landed soft. Not a bomb, but a sigh. Betrayal, yes, but expected in this loop of revelations. "Why now?" He met my eyes, tears gleaming. "Because I see you with him. Happy. And it guts me, but it's right. I was the one who blamed you for my failures." Vulnerability poured out. The farm boy dreams clashing with Manhattan's grind. Internalized shame twisting love into control. We talked for hours, the party pulsing behind us, forging not reconciliation but release. "Go heal," I said finally, hugging him fierce. "We're both free." He left with a nod, shoulders lighter. But Marcus's threat loomed, a storm cloud over our fragile peace. Alex and I dug in, hiring a PI on the cheap, a queer ex-cop from the Stonewall era, all grit and garlic breath, combing emails for proof. It culminated in a rainy Tuesday at a midtown coffee shop, Marcus cornered with printouts. His IP traces, forged metadata, even steamy texts to Ethan timestamped during client meetings. The PI's voice was gravel. One word to your boss, and this goes public, or the cops. Marcus folded, sweat beading, promising silence. Fine, we're square. But as he slunk out his parting shot, Ethan's not worth it. None of you are. Hatred, pure and petty. The underbelly of our glittering world. The high crash came hard. Alex and I fought that night. Stupid over nothing. Whose turn to do dishes, but really the weight of it all. You're still carrying him, he accused, sponge dripping in his fist. Ethan's ghost. I fired back. And you're pushing too fast, like I'm a project to fix. Words like shrapnel, drawing blood. He stormed to the bedroom. I crashed on the couch, staring at the ceiling cracks mapping my regrets. Dawn brought apology, his first with burnt scones and a playlist of make-up ballads. I'm scared, he admitted, pulling me close, of losing you before we even start. Tears mixed, and we made love in the morning light, slow, reaffirming. It was then, tangled in limbs and laughter, I felt the loop truly break. No more returns, just forward. Summer scorched in, Pride Month exploding in rainbows and rebellion. We marched together, me in a shirt silk-screened with my own design, Alex waving a flag for trans siblings up front. The energy was electric. Chants of no justice, no peace. Bodies slick with sweat and solidarity. The pulse of a community unbroken. Ethan texted from afar. A photo from his first solo trip to Provincetown. Caption, learning to float. Progress. Human. Our love deepened in quiet ways. Road trip to the Finger Lakes. Skinny dipping in moonlit waters. Debating Foucault over bonfire esmores. He proposed on a whim, not with rings, but a mixtape labeled our soundtrack. Tracks from our first kiss to future dreams. I said yes under a canopy of stars, the kind America promises but rarely delivers. But the story doesn't end in bows. One crisp fall eve, as leaves turned fiery in Prospect Park, I got the call. Ethan, overdose. Pills and bourbon, a slip in his fragile recovery. I raced to the hospital, Alex driving, hand steady on my knee. In the sterile waiting room, beeps and bleach, his parents arrived, conservative suits clashing with the chaos. He mentioned you, his mom whispered, eyes accusatory, said you broke him. No, I corrected gently. We broke each other, but he was fighting. When they let me in, Ethan was pale, tube snaking, but alive. Landon, he rasped, gripping my hand. Tell Alex, thanks, for loving you right. Tears fell, not of loss but release. I did, later, by his bedside. The three of us linked in a chain of what-ifs turned to wisdom. He pulled through, checked into rehab upstate, maple forests and group therapy, a far cry from our urban frenzy. We visited once, Alex and I, bringing contraband candy and stories of the city thriving without him. You're my what could have been, he said, smiling faint. And that's enough. Back in Brooklyn, life wove onward. Alex and I adopted a rescue mutt, scruffy terrier mix named Chance. Fitting. We planned a commitment ceremony. Small. Rooftop vows at dusk. Officiated by the PI who'd become an unlikely uncle figure. Friends toasted with craft IPAs, the skyline a testament to survival. In the end, it wasn't happily ever after, no fairy tale gloss. It was human. Messy arguments over takeout, quiet nights tracing tattoos, the ache of old wounds flaring on rainy days. But in each other's arms, under the relentless hum of the city that birthed our scars, we found a love that was ours. Unblamed. Unbroken. Mine. 2 years slipped by like pages in a well-loved novel, the kind with dog-eared corners and coffee stains marking the good parts. Alex and I settled into a rhythm that felt less like a dance and more like breathing, easy, essential. We upgraded from his Chelsea walk-up to a co-op in Harlem. Brownstone bones with creaky floors and a backyard garden where Chance chased squirrels under lilac bushes. Mornings started with his whistle in the shower. My sketches scattered on the kitchen table amid half-eaten bagels. Evenings ended with vinyl spins. Nina Simone crooning about feeling good. her voice rapping us as we swayed, barefoot and unhurried. Work flourished. My design firm took off, snagging contracts for Broadway revivals and nonprofit campaigns. Love is a revolution. Billboards blazing across Times Square, queer icons in bold strokes. Alex cut back bartending, diving into photography, candid shots of the city's underbelly, trans youth at zine fairs, elders sharing Stonewall tales. His first exhibit, Echoes of Us, hung in a Soho loft space, walls alive with our shared history. That fire escape kiss frozen in silver halide, my hand in his at the Pride March, blurred but unbreakable. Ethan resurfaced sporadically, a thread in the tapestry rather than a snag. Post-rehab, he relocated to Philadelphia, closer to family, farther from temptations. He started a blog, Out of the Closet, Into the Light, raw essays on addiction and queerness in red state shadows. We met once, neutral ground. A diner off I-95, greasy spoons and formica tables. He looked good, hair shorter, eyes clearer, a silver ring on his finger that wasn't mine. Met someone, he said, stirring sugar into coffee. A teacher. Steady. Pride swelled. Untainted. You deserve it. We hugged goodbye. The past a soft echo, not a roar. But peace has teeth. Marcus's shadow lingered longest. A civil suit dragged through courts, his forgeries exposed in depositions that read like bad fanfic. He lost his job, slunk to Jersey with tail between legs, but not before one last venomous email. You ruined me. Enjoy your pity party. It stung, a reminder that some wounds scar deep, visible under fluorescent lights. Alex found me staring at it one night, jaw clenched. Delete the poison, he said, kissing my temple. We've got antidotes. The real test came unbidden. A late summer heat wave turning the city into a steam bath. I collapsed at work. Dehydration masking deeper fatigue. The loop's ghost whispering of fragility. Hospital lights buzzed. For drip cold in my vein. Alex pacing the ER hall like a caged wolf. Stress, the doc said. Burnout. Slow down, Mr. Hayes. Alex's vigil was fierce. Smuggling in my favorite graphic novel. Reading aloud in that gravelly timbre until I laughed through the haze. Discharge brought reckoning. We took a week off, fleeing to Alex's family cabin in the Adirondacks. Pine-scented air, lake swims where loons called like lost lovers. Around a crackling fire, stars pricking the velvet sky, I spilled the unspoken. What if the loop happens again? What if I lose this? He pulled me close, his heartbeat a steady drum. Then we looped together. But babe, you're here. Now, that's the win. Fall painted the leaves in rebellion. Crimson, gold, defiant against the chill. Our ceremony unfolded on that Harlem rooftop, October 15th, anniversary of the day I returned, reclaimed. 30 guests. My sister flying in with her wife, queer kin from the festival circuit. Even Ethan via video, toasting from Philly with a grin. Vows were simple, etched in truth. I choose you. In the wreckage and the wonder. No blames, no returns. Just us. Rings exchanged, black tungsten, etched with coordinates of our first kiss. Alex's lips on mine sealed it, cheers rising like a wave. Winter brought quiet joys. Holiday markets in Union Square, mittened hands and mulled wine, chance decked in a ridiculous sweater. We hosted game nights, Trivial Pursuit devolving into strip charades. Laughter echoing off exposed beams. But humanity crept in, arguments over politics, his bleeding heart socialism clashing my pragmatic liberalism. Nights when old insecurities flared, Ethan's name a trigger in therapy sessions we started together. One such night, post-session in a village cafe, rain lashing windows, jazz trio murmuring. Alex squeezed my hand. We're not perfect, but we're real. I nodded, throat tight. Better than any loop. Spring 2028 bloomed with surprise. A positive test, not mine but ours, fostering. Little Jamie, 8, arrived with a duffel and wary eyes, bounced from system to system after his dad's overdose. Brown curls, freckles like Alex's, a laugh that cracked worlds open. We navigated the chaos. School runs in yellow cabs, bedtime stories of superheroes who saved themselves first. Are you my dad's now? He asked one night, tucked under quilts patterned with constellations. If you'll have us, I whispered. His hug was answer enough. Ethan visited once, post-adoption papers, bearing a toy spaceship. Uncle E, Jamie dubbed him, and we watched them build forts from couch cushions, the past folding into play. You built this, Ethan said later on our stoop, city lights winking. From ashes, gratitude swelled. We all did. Years layered on, a collage of milestones. Jamie's first pride float, waving a flag taller than him. Alex's book deal, Through the Lens, Queer New York. My gallery show, loops visualized in ink and light. Conflicts arose. Jamie's questions about biology, Marcus's parole hearing we ignored, but love anchored, a constant in the flux. On our 10th rooftop toast, under a meteor shower streaking like second chances, Alex pulled me close. Returned from death, huh? He teased, echoing the old title. I laughed, heart full. Nah, found life. With you. And in that American sprawl, flawed, fierce, forever we lived. Not happily ever after, but wholly, humanly, home.